Okay, guys, I wanted to talk about United States and the last days of quiet and peace over there. So, Americans have no idea what has been happening because there have been some very drastic developments in regards to Ukraine and other countries of the world. First of all, um, several leaders of various nations possibly have been poisoned. The leader of Turkey, he was poisoned, but he survived. He partly recovered and he felt horrible life because the poison that they use usually takes force gradually. Then there was Vucic, I think he's president of Serbia. And then there is president of Belarus. And they are all feeling okay. Of course, it was done back then in end of April, but it became known gradually as the truth started to come up because it was all done as a gift, of course, for the English coronation. Today is the birthday of Nicholas II, who was the emperor of Russia and the Russian Empire. The trials happened to him way back then when Queen Victoria, who was of England, who was quite ugly, fell in love with his father, Alexander, who was very handsome, and he refused to marry her, and all the hell broke loose after that. Yeah, and the English started the world wars besides everything else that they started. Another development was that the English supplied what is called Storm Shadow to Ukraine, and these are what is called non-enriched uranium warheads. And Russian military, as they arrived at the warhouse in Ukraine, they have hit them with their missiles called the Kinjal. So they are hypersonic missiles. And apart from that, so when they hit them, there was a big cloud, which was, well, the mushroom cloud, typical for nuclear weapons. It is in question now whether the warheads were enriched or not enriched, what kind of weapons they were, and there is argument now because there is not only gamma emission, gamma rays detected, but also alpha waves, or something like that are not typical to unenriched uranium. So there is radiation currently happen in a region of Ukraine called Khmelnytsky, and the cloud has moved with the wind towards Poland, and from Poland it's now moving towards Western Europe. The consequence will be known in several years, but I have to remind you that the English also supply those type of weapons before to bomb Serbia. This was back in the 1990s, I think. And after that, there were many cases of kids with leukemia and breast cancer and whatnot. And there was colossal loss of children's population back then. And that is how it works. Also, Russian military hit the protective installments called, I think, anti-aircraft, anti-missile system called Patriot, which allegedly costs $2.5 billion, which was supplied to Ukraine. They were hit with the same Kinzhal, Russian hypersonic. This is a very high-speed missile type, and they destroyed it. That was followed by Raytheon, which is a military industrial complex company which sells arms and equipment around the world for defense. Their shares collapsed, and before that, Patriot system had been used in Saudi Arabia, which also was fertile. It didn't work. So in general, it paints the picture of United States of America territory being quite defenseless if the systems called Patriot is what they have against hypersonic missiles, for example, which can cause a big damage to them. And the nuclear weapons which were detonating in Ukraine and from which fallout clouds is now moving with the winds towards Western Europe. The fire that was burning after that mushroom cloud was stopped by the robot firefighting technology. So they had delivered those robot firefighters to Ukraine because they had prior knowledge that this could happen. So yeah, this doesn't look good. And what can you expect if you are in the United States? You can expect a huge financial collapse in the near future, and people will start withdraw money from American system and their accounts there. And I advise all of you to buy medicine, because they are going to, if you need certain medicine, you need to buy it now, big stock, instead of whatever you buy as prepping. If you are in Europe, you need to buy stuff to clear water, and you need to buy stuff that takes out poisons and heavy metals. Anyways, I hope that you will understand that while you are taking care of petty things, quite drastic changes are happening in our reality, and you need to be able to defend yourself and your family. Like I said, Blinken is of Ukrainian origin, and I believe that Zelensky is of English origin. And this energy that they bring is the energy of darkness and destruction and collapse and financial poverty. Because wherever Ukrainians go and whatever they set their hands on, they destroy it. Also in Canada, the Minister of Finance is really of Ukrainian origin. Her maiden name is Khomyak, and she's from Ukraine. She's going to bring Canada into financial ruin together with those refugees. So I think that's it. And yeah, Italy is facing terrible floods together with Croatia, and it's going to get worse. The end of May is going to be very harsh and painful. There was also earthquake in the Pacific Ocean that will cause further flooding in various areas, including New Zealand and Australia. You need to be prepared. I just care that United Kingdom will go underwater because they killed Nicholas II. That was them. And they were their own family, because at that time King George and Nicholas were cousins. When the revolution happened, which English financed, the English refused to receive Nicholas II, who abducted from the throne at that time. And they told him to go to the United States, and United States has taken 40 tons, huge quantities of Russian royal family Romanov's gold. And I think they bought stuff like Epstein Islands and whatever, how it all ended. Anyways, they stole the gold from the royal family, and they also stole their jewels, and the English fox wore them. And India asked to return the jewels that were stolen from them, which were used in the crown of their monarchs. Have a good day.